happen. So it's been such a great experience so far. So I want to now introduce you to our next guest, Julia Campbell. She is a nonprofit social media expert, and she has over 20 years of experience working with nonprofits. And I want to turn it over to her. I'm so excited to have her to really go over everything you can do to convert your social media fans and followers into donors and long-term supporters. So Julia, thank you so much for being here. This is so awesome to
Hey,
have you.
I know. I miss you, Candace.
I miss you too. It's been
So
too
good to see
long.
you.
It's so good to see
Um,
you.
you've got to disable or stop screen sharing so I can share my screen. But I'm
Yes.
really excited to be here for the fourth annual, I believe it's annual, right?
Yeah, it's the fourth annual one. And you
Digital
joined us
Fundraising Summit. It's
last year,
really
which was
exciting.
awesome.
The lineup is amazing. The resources look incredible. So I'm thrilled to be part of such an esteemed group. So we're just going to dive right in. We have until 10 of the hour. So we're just going to dive right in, and please put your questions in the Q&A area. And we will get to as many as we can. I'll give you my contact information at the end. So I'm really just happy to be here. So if you don't know who I am, Candace read a little bit about my bio, but I think the most important thing I want to share with everyone is that I am a former development and marketing director. I've been a volunteer coordinator. I am a board member on a couple of nonprofits. I've pretty much done everything except actually found and start a nonprofit. So I've seen all of the angles. I know how stressed out a lot of you are. I know how many things are on your plate. So we'll go quickly today. If you want my digital storytelling workbook that actually you can use to implement some of the strategies we're going to talk about today, then just go to my website or text workbook. If it doesn't work, send me a tweet, let me know. But those things should work. But you know how technology goes. So what are we going to cover today? The state of social media digital fundraising right now. We'll just go over a few statistics so that we can all be on the same page, because clearly a lot has changed in terms of where nonprofits are in their digital skill set and tech savvy. 3 strategies to convert social media fans and followers to long-term supporters, and some tools that you can use to create great graphics and videos, help you slay social media marketing. So does social media matter for nonprofits? I encourage all of you to read the Global NGO Technology Report, because what it finds, it surveys nonprofits, but it also surveys social media users and donors. So what they found is that, yes, we do agree that it's, effective for creating online brand awareness. And 36% of users say they've used social media sites like Facebook and Twitter in the past month to show support for a cause. Now, there's so much controversy right now around Facebook and whether it's ethical to use the platform. This is not what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be giving you the information on how you can leverage these tools for your nonprofit, but you need to make that decision for yourself, whether you're going to be using these platforms or not. Facebook came out with a study that showed that over $5 billion have been raised through fundraisers on their platforms. And I think that is not a number, obviously, to kind of sneeze at. I think it's kind of only growing. So we're going to talk about ways not really to use Facebook fundraising tools, but ways to use your own fundraising campaigns and link out to your own donation pages. So we'll cover a little bit of everything, but I don't want you to think you have to have signed up for Facebook fundraising tools to participate today, because that's not actually the majority of what I will be talking about. Another interesting trend that I'm seeing, just the changing behavior that people have using social media. We used to use it to connect with friends and family, right? And we still do. But now a lot of the sites are targeted on discovery. Think about TikTok, think about Snapchat, think about Instagram. You're following a lot of people that you have probably never met, and are, have probably never met you. So it's a lot about discovery and search. And I think that's a good opportunity for organizations. Now, we know that donors and consumers, I mean, they're the same, right? Donors and consumers are the same. So we can study consumer behavior and really get a feel for how it might influence donor behavior. So what studies have found is that consumers who are influenced by social media are 4 times more likely to spend more on purchases. It shortens the customer journey. It amplifies the impact of social proof and word of mouth. And it remains one of the most effective ways to reach your audience is influencer marketing. So that's Search Engine Watch. And I like to follow trends in customer behavior, online shopping, e-commerce, because it affects the way people give online. It affects digital fundraising. So before you say, my donors are not online, I'm willing to bet that your donors, even if they don't give to your organization online, they bank online, they've probably made a purchase online. I'm willing to bet they're on at least one social media site. So we cannot write off entire generations of people and say they're just not using these tools. They might not be donating to your organization, and there might be several reasons for that, which we'll talk about today. But I would not write off entire generations of donors. As you can see, baby boomers, they're actually the fastest growing demographic joining social media sites, 77% of Gen X, 90% of millennials. And if you look at the generations defined, right, Gen Z is poised to become the largest generation, even bigger than the baby boomers. And we have a responsibility as fundraisers to reach every single one of these generations. So our job is not getting easier necessarily. It might be getting more difficult because now we have to incorporate multi-channel. We have to use social media. We have to use direct mail. We have to call people on the phone. We have to reach people where they are. So we have a responsibility as fundraisers, as digital fundraisers, to be acknowledging all of the different generations and reaching out to them. So before we begin, now I know the title is How to Convert Your Social Media Fans and Followers. There is no light switch. There are best practices. There are things that are effective and proven, but the internet is not an ATM. You can't just set up a Facebook page or get on Twitter and then expect donations to roll in. You have to build up trust with your audience first. And real success requires a long-term strategy. There are no shortcuts or silver bullets. I do not teach shortcuts and silver bullets. My goal is to get you to look at social media as part of your overall fundraising plan and part of your overall marketing plan. So it doesn't replace things that are already working. And it works best when it's incorporated with offline strategies and baked into your year-long strategic plan and priorities, right? So this is the big question. How do we actually take the audience that hopefully we've built up and engaged on whatever platform it is and turn them into someone that's going to be a long-term supporter or a donor? So the very first thing that I encourage my clients to do, my students to do, take a look at ways that social media can be leveraged to build your email list. Email is the best way to build long-term, deeper relationships with your fans. And despite the fact that we all say we hate email, right? Love it or hate it, usage is not on the decline, even with younger generations. It has bigger reach. Industry standard, 20% open rate. Now, if you're reaching 20% of your fans on Facebook organically, I really want to know. I want to talk to you. I want to hire you. I want to know what you're doing. Facebook organic reach, just as an example, hovers around 2 to 3%. That means every time you post on Facebook, only 2 to 3% of your fans see it. These are just averages. You also don't own Facebook, right? You don't own your social media profiles. Honestly, Facebook could shut down tomorrow. Twitter, any of these could shut down tomorrow, and you don't own that list of fans. You do own your email list as long as you've acquired emails in an ethical way and you have permission to email them. So people that like you on social media, you've already broken down the biggest barrier. The biggest barrier is just getting people to know that you exist, right? Getting that attention and getting that interest. So they've indicated an interest in your work. So get them on your email list to build that long-term, deeper relationship. So how do you do this, right? I had an incredibly difficult, next to impossible time trying to find a really good example of a nonprofit that was encouraging people to sign up for their list. Now, this is NASA. I did like this because it's playing on FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Our next newsletter is coming out. If you're interested in climate change news, subscribe to our newsletter, sign up. So some of the things that you can do to entice people to click over to your website and sign up, sign up today. We'll send you 2 simple ways to fight hunger in your community. Join us in the fight against deforestation. Never miss an update in our mission to cure childhood cancer, right? You have to give people a reason to sign up. You can't just say, hey, here's our email newsletter, sign up. And you need to do it systematically, right? You need to constantly have it as part of your content, like a couple times a month, if not more. I would encourage people to sign up. You could say, tomorrow we're sharing Molly's story. We're sharing her incredible journey. If you want to read it, if you want to be a part of it, sign up for our updates here. So this is really the true way, because people, they don't want to sign up for an email newsletter. They want to hear stories. They want to be inspired, and they need to have a reason to sign up for your email list. Because they might think, honestly, this is very true. They might think, oh, I follow them on Facebook, so I'm going to get all that information there. People don't understand how the algorithm works. They don't understand how the newsfeed on every single channel works. They're filtering things out. They're determining what we see. So a lot of your users are not going to understand that. So encouraging them to go to your email list so they don't miss anything, that's really huge and can be very effective. I also want you to experiment with adding email signups to your social media bios. So this is Catskill Animal Sanctuary. We rescue farmed animals and champion vegan living. Subscribe to our monthly email, Heard Around the Barn, to keep up with the excitement. I absolutely love that. I think it's kind of tongue in cheek and really fun. You could also say, join our email list, or, join now and we'll send you 2 ways to start vegan living in your own house, something like that. So that, just remember that kind of incentive. Also, add the email sign up to all of your videos. Now, if your video has a different call to action, fine, right? If your video is trying to get people to go to an event or getting people to do something else, then only have the one call to action. But I so often see videos posted with no call to action. What do I do next? What do I do after this video? I'm excited. I'm interested. And the New York Public Library, they don't actually put it in the caption, or they say, invest in libraries. That is their advocacy platform, but they put their donate link in the comments because people are going to get a notification. Also, your live video is not going to disappear after the live stream. It's going to stay on your page as a video. So this applies anywhere that you're sharing videos, but especially on your Facebook page. YouTube as well. Add the email sign up link to a YouTube video card. Okay. YouTube video cards, it sounds really technical and hard. Just Google it, go into the help section of YouTube. If you have any video content on YouTube, you can do this. You can actually add a donate button, or you can add an email sign up. You can add whatever link you want, right? Sign up for Google for Nonprofits. Make sure you get access to all of these tools, but adding the email link on a video, people are so much more likely after they've watched a video to go sign up so they don't miss any of your other content. Now, remember the call to action, right? What can we provide them that is uniquely ours, that they can't get anywhere else, that they would miss if we were gone? Now, by focusing on your audience's desires and needs and what drives them and motivates them, they can better craft, you can better craft a pitch to get them to sign up. So these are examples of pop-ups on websites. I just think these are great call to actions. Get exclusive updates on the conflict and what we're doing to stop it. Together, we can give every woman in India hope and the opportunity to create her own future. Stay connected to the global movement to end poverty, illiteracy, and low expectations. There's an incentive for me to join the list. All right, the second strategy, use social media ads to build your list or to get people to donate. So there's really two ways you can do it. You can do lead gen ads. You can actually direct people to your email sign up, or you can have them fill out a form, or you can just encourage them to donate directly through the platform. So create a small budget for social ads that lead your fans and followers to one of these options, your email opt-in form, the donate button, or an outside fundraising site, which actually Facebook does not let you do. So you can't add the donate button on an ad and go to an outside site. You could do learn more. You could do sign up, but they want to keep the donate button exclusively, in their ecosystem. But you can also create a standalone ad that looks like this, that says all of this, that has your link in it. So some pro tips. Look at what United Way of Massachusetts Bay did. Now, they did not want to actually raise money on Facebook, but they wanted to leverage the power of social media ads to reach their current fans and followers and also reach new fans and followers. And this was their incentive. And then when you go to learn more, you read a little bit of a blog post, you're encouraged to donate. You're really encouraged to donate to United Way. So it's a less direct way of asking for money, but it can still be effective. And then even more of a technical tip, once people go to your website, there's something called the Facebook Pixel that you can add, and you can actually retarget ads to people, or it just will give you more insight into who's actually going to your website. What are they clicking on? It'll give you really good intel on if your content is actually working and resonating. So some pro tips that I have, if you're going to send people to your website from social media, don't send them to the homepage. I have no idea what you want me to do on that homepage that has 30 calls to actions, a navigation bar with 70 things. Do not send me to the homepage, because then I have to figure out what you want me to do, and I will leave. I will absolutely leave. Send people to a landing page. Send people to a fundraising form. Send people somewhere where they know what to do. If you write donate, send me to a donate form, right? If you write learn more, send me to the 6 ways. Don't send me to the home page. I will not know what to do. And a confused mind always says no. When they click on any kind of ad, be sure wherever you're sending them is mobile friendly and optimized. People use social media on their phones. They are on their phones predominantly using social media. So if I'm on my phone, I see your ad or your post, and I click over to something and it's not mobile optimized, I will immediately click away as well. You can also, on Facebook and Instagram, also on Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere else, you can create an ad that's just a separate ad that doesn't live on your page at all. It just lives as an ad. So if you want to create some content, but you think, oh, I don't want it to live on my Facebook page forever, I don't want it to be in my Instagram feed, my beautifully curated Instagram feed, you can create a standalone ad and just run it to exactly the targeted audiences that you want to. Now, success really means having a long-term plan for social ads. So when you're not actively fundraising, you still want to give your fans an incentive to click and join you off of social media. So maybe that's promoting a research report, a very special story, a new video, a free event, a webinar. Also, ads tend to be most effective. And I know a lot of the organizations on here are not going to have huge ad budgets, but if you have $50, $100 to spend, social ads are most effective for warm audiences. That's your fans and your followers. That's people already with you. Creating an ad that says donate and sending it out to complete strangers, it's incredibly difficult to do that unless you're something in the news, unless you are hurricane relief unless it's something people are talking about. So think about warm ads first. Think about who's following you, your fans and followers. You can upload your email list of donors into Facebook, into Twitter, into LinkedIn, anywhere you can buy an ad, and you can target ads to your email list. There's so many different options. I just want to encourage us to be way more proactive than we've been before. So we need to start thinking proactively and less reactively, especially when we're leveraging these powerful tools. And the third strategy, promote your campaigns on social media. Like, this just sounds, like a no-brainer. Don't simply just ask for money, though. Asking for money is effective, but you can also promote your campaign, your successes, your wins, your accomplishments, how much you've raised, how much you have to go. Talk about your fundraising campaigns on social media. I really love this post from Feeding America because it has sort of all of the elements of effective storytelling kind of designed for social media. So if you look, it has an eye-catching photo of one person that you're instantly kind of drawn to. Then it has a little bit of a story to pique your interest. It has some conflict. I do worry about food sometimes. I want my family to have food in their tummies. When you skip a meal, your stomach starts hurting. And then a statistic that shows me the problem is something that I need to care about. 1 in 7 kids struggling with hunger. And then this, chances are that you know a child who is missing meals. I mean, it's pretty perfectly crafted. You can help. This is what works on social media, not just donate money now, give to us just because. So I love Girls Inc. I love them. They're one of my favorite organizations. I do have a slight little note on this particular post. I wish that they had made it not about their goal. I wish they'd made it about what the money is going to do. So I see this all the time on social media. Make your gift today so we can reach our goal. Okay, well, if I don't really know anything about Girls Inc., why would I care? Why is that compelling? Tell me what the money is going to do. Talk more about the result and the problem that's being solved. So yes, a matching gift, you want to promote the matching gift, but I'm not going to give necessarily because of the matching gift. It might be the thing that tips me over the edge, right? But I'm giving because I believe in you and the movement that you're creating, and I want to solve the problem that you're solving. So just think about the words that you're using, make them less about you and your organization and make them much more about the problem. And why would the donor care? Another great way to raise money on social media that I see in the UK, I see in Europe all the time, is the text to give. They do this all the time and they raise millions of dollars. We have just not caught on here as much with text to give. I don't know why, but think about the ways that people are using these platforms. They're on their phone. It is so much easier for me to open up my text app and just text dad to 70550 than it is to click on a link, fill out a form. I mean, the key here is to make things as frictionless and as easy as possible. This is why we're not converting more of our social media fans and followers, because we put up all these barriers. We make them fill out these really, really long forms with 9,000 fields. We don't mobile optimize our forms. I mean, this is really what the summit is all about, removing those barriers, making things as frictionless and easy and simplified as possible. So think about ways, think about tools. CauseVox is a fantastic tool. Think about ways that you can leverage the technology available to make a great user experience for your digital donors. Talk about your donors, talk about monthly donors. You know, what I just found out the other day, I'm working with a cultural institution, and they recently did a survey of their donors, or they did a survey of the community, and they found that people thought that they were funded by the government. They didn't know that they needed individual donors. Now that's just, takes our breath away as fundraisers, like people not knowing that we need money. Talk about your donors, talk about your monthly donors. You would be surprised how many people don't know that you accept monthly donations. They just don't know because you never told them. So do a spotlight, talk about it on social media. It's a fantastic platform to bring people over and convert them to monthly donors, or even just, one-time donors. And then really the framing of the caption is absolutely vital. So I always use this example from Best Friends because I think it is just one of the best examples. Great photo, catching my eye, conflict, story, getting me to care, getting me to pay attention, piquing my curiosity. And what I love about this is effective. I would test not doing this, and I would also test a post that does this, giving the $5, because it eliminates that analysis paralysis, the decision fatigue. I'm scrolling down. I'm like, oh yeah, I have $5. I can do that right now. That way I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think, oh, what did people give? Am I being cheap? Is this too much? Give $5. That is so effective on social media, telling people the amount to give. I would experiment to see if you get more conversions, which is just more people clicking and then actually donating with that amount or a different amount or even just no amount. The other thing that I want to draw your attention to, it's easy to make a gift today by clicking the donate button below. Tell me what to do, or click this link to make your gift today. If you don't have the donate button, tell me exactly what to do. I swear you cannot be more specific. I mean, being as specific as possible, showing me what you want me to do. I love the Greater Boston Food Bank, one of my absolute favorites. Just think of the headlines, right? No one should go hungry. Your $20 gift provides a complete holiday meal for a family of 5. Telling me what the money goes to, if you can, giving me an amount, if you can, just realizing I'm probably scrolling through. Maybe I'm, at my kid's soccer game and I have a second, I'm just scrolling and I want to make a decision. So really recognizing where people are. I get a lot of questions about Instagram. I just wanted to share a couple of slides on some of the tools available there. If you do have Facebook fundraising tools set up, you can get the Instagram donate button, but you can also just put your donate link in your bio, which I know a lot of people do. So if you have an outside fundraising website, donate page on your website, you can also just put that in your bio. Another feature on Instagram that is just linked to their internal tools is the Instagram story donation sticker. Now, if you have 10,000 followers or more, or if you purchase ads, which Instagram stories are a great place to advertise, you can put a link, right? You don't have to use their tools. But if you're not doing that, you might want to consider signing up for these tools so people can put a sticker in their story. Now, you also want to create a plan for thanking people and really building your community. So this is a very recent post. I actually shared this in my most recent email newsletter that some of you might have received, that it just sent out yesterday. Amira Incorporated, what I love that they did, all of this is because of your support to this work and to our mission. Joanna's story would not be possible without you. Leave a note for Joanna below and we will share it with her. So there's a lot going on here. One, it's not asking for money, it's thanking people, but that is all part of fundraising, right? Cultivating your audience, thanking people. Leave a note below so it encourages engagement. And they got, at last count, I think 20, 25 comments, people commenting, sharing, congratulating. It builds community, but it also builds engagement, which all of the social media sites value. It's the juice that drives the algorithm. So we really need to start getting a little bit more strategic rather than just constantly asking for money. How are we building community and thanking our donors as well? So the call to action: make your give now language compelling, consider your audience, play on their motivations. What problem do they want to solve? Now, the real key to success is having a long-term plan. And a lot of you might not know where to start with your long-term plan. But what I have some tips for you. So don't focus on the tools first. Don't say, I want to get on YouTube and have a viral video. No, don't do that. Really focus on your goals. What can social media help you achieve? And if you could wave a magic wand, how could it help your nonprofit grow? How will you know success? So take some time to really think about your goals for even being on these platforms in the first place. Then you need to take some time to understand your audience and your audiences. So I view social media as really effective to reaching two different audience segments: the people who like you, who know you, and the people who don't know you yet, but might like you. So in terms of your current audience, you want to make sure you're truly understanding what your supporters value, what motivates them, what they want to learn more about, and what drives them to participate. And this is going to inform your social media content, and it's going to inform your fundraising calls to action. Also consider what your target audience already knows about you. What misconceptions might they have about you? Where can you address? And then identify who you need to attract. Who do you still need to get into the fold to achieve your goals? And why is this audience important? If you come to me and say, I want to reach Gen Z, okay, great. That's a wonderful goal, but why? Like, what's it going to help you achieve specifically? And then where are they already? You can't force Gen Z to follow you on Facebook because they're not there. You got to go where they are. So when you identify who you need to attract, you really have to get strategic about going where they are and where they hang out. So don't try to force people. Don't try to force a round peg into a square hole. Also, another thing, don't try to cut through the clutter, because you really can't. Cutting through the clutter is not even possible, right? Think about how many platforms, think about how many pieces of information, think just about all the notifications. Think about building a community. Once you have those pieces in place, your goals, your audience, then you choose the platforms. Then you are allowed to choose the platforms. And remember, each platform is its own country with its own rules, its own language, its own etiquette. You do not have to be everywhere. I don't recommend that you are everywhere. I think less is more, quality over quantity any day of the week. And then, of course, a very, very key piece, creating content that your audience actually wants. Creating content that your audience wants. Stories, photos, things that are interactive, educational, inspiring, entertaining, and connecting. This is a good rule of thumb for your long-term social media plan. And then 20% of the time, you can try to convert those fans and those followers. So what kind of content do I mean? Stories about staff, stories about donors, stories about volunteers, stories about clients. Think about the questions you're getting asked. Susan G. Komen, Florida, did a whole series during COVID around breast cancer and the implications during a pandemic. Amira always goes live on Instagram. They go live on Facebook, answering questions, talking to people, interacting with people, sharing fun facts, sharing statistics, participating in challenges, museum at night challenge. I love any museum challenge. Like the creepiest object challenge was so awesome. Just really having your finger on the pulse of your audience and what they want, and sharing impact, showing what goes on. What does this money actually accomplish? Why am I participating? Make me proud to be a part of your organization. So, trends come and go. Social media sites come and go, right? I love this little graphic. But the only way to really future-proof what you're doing is to meet your donors where they are and not where you want them to be. Make every interaction as frictionless and clear as possible. And always think about your donors first. Always think about their point of view when you're creating absolutely everything. All right. So I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I know you can do this. The only constant is that everything is constantly changing. Platforms come and go. So focus on building a real community that will follow you no matter where you set up shop. Now I have just a couple of tools to share. I know I want to get to questions, so we're going to go through the tools pretty quickly. A lot of you probably know these tools. You are going to get the slides, or I'm happy to send you at least this list of battle tested tools. Canva is great for graphic design. Animoto, Lumen 5 for video. WordSwag is a mobile app for graphic design. And then for scheduling, I like Hootsuite, Buffer, and Later. Those are kind of my three that I really like for scheduling. You can also run analytics reports on all of those different platforms. So, all right. I am looking forward to the questions. Do I read them out, or do you want to read them, Candace? And I know there's a ton, and I can see a ton of information, and I wasn't looking at the chat the whole time, everyone. So sorry if you put something in the chat for me. I was just hoping that everyone could hear me.
Yeah, no, it was so great. Thank you so much, Julia, for an awesome session. For all of you, we're going to try to get to as many questions as possible in the next 9 minutes or so that we have here.
Okay.
I really encourage you to reach out to Julia for any questions that you don't get answered today, and also follow her on social media. She has her LinkedIn there, and also there's so much amazing content and resources on Julia's site. Highly recommend you take a look at that workbook. Definitely go for it. And I wanted to also give a shout out and thank you, Julia, for being one of our sponsors for the Digital Fundraising Summit. So
thank you. I really appreciate it. I just love I love the whole vibe of the summit, and such awesome people. It's
so great. It's so cool. Like, and also thank you everyone who's watching and engaging. There's so many great questions and so much activity in the chat. So yeah, for the Q&A, I know you probably took a quick look at the Q&A pane. If you see any questions you want to go for right away, feel free. And I will also pick out a few as well.
Okay, so there's a lot of questions around budget for social media, ranges for cost of targeted ads. I think that, justifying the cost of things. So for a social media budget, I just really want to encourage you to, what I like to say is at least spend, maybe I'll just throw a number like $50 and experiment. Now, what I don't want you to do is boost a post. That is just making Mark Zuckerberg richer, right? Take $50, go to the platform where your audience is. I'm just saying Facebook because that's where the majority of nonprofits are. If your audience is on Instagram, if your audience is on Twitter, if your audience is on TikTok, right? Go to where your audience is, spend that $50 and just kind of see what happens. But make sure you have some way to kind of track it. So you either have something that they can download, or you have a special landing page they're going to go to. So you can see, we spent this and this many people did this. So I just want to encourage you to experiment and to just always have a really set goal for the money that you're spending, and not just to kind of say, okay, well, we're going to spend $50 and hope a lot of people see this post, because you can't really track what happens after that. So that would be my advice.
Awesome. Thanks, Julia. I saw a couple questions asking about the call to action in the bio, the Instagram bio. What do you recommend for that? Should it be sign up for a newsletter and a link to the site? Should it be to the donate page? Any recommendations on making that also like clear and concise so it really results in action?
So when I think of the social media bio, you notice I didn't really push putting your donate page in your bio, because it's sort of the first thing someone sees from you. So if I stumble upon you on Instagram and I don't know who you are, my first inclination is not donate. My first inclination might be, oh, I want to learn more about stopping childhood hunger. I want to learn more about, deforestation and things I can do to prevent climate change. So make the incentive be either, go to our website where they can then sign up, or go to our email sign up and get a free report, or get 5 ways to give back this thing, 5 ways to organize a food drive. I saw that on someone's site. And it just needs to be, an incentive for someone to sign up. Think about the email newsletters that you get, and think about the thought leaders you follow. Think about the organizations you personally support, and what could that be for your audience? Like, what could you give them that would incentivize them to give an email? And getting emails is incredibly, incredibly difficult, because we've all been burned. We've all been spammed. We've all had an email list sold, and our emails sold to everybody under the sun. So if I give you my email, I want to know that I'm not going to regret it. I want to know I'm going to get inspiring stories or stories of impact. I'm going to be joining a movement that I believe in. I'm going to be getting information on how to stop XYZ problem. So if you can frame it in that way, and put it in your bio and put an email sign up link, I think that's more effective. The only caveat is if you're running a fundraising campaign. So if you're running a Giving Tuesday campaign, or I don't know, Mother's Day campaign, and you are like all hands on deck fundraising for 24 hours, then yes, put the donate link. But for most days when you're not fundraising, I would have the email sign up link.
Awesome. Thanks, Julia.
Sure.
Yeah, there's so many great questions.
I'm sorry, guys.
Any ones that you want to pick out first?
Let's see. Oh my gosh, these are so good. Quickly, you can promote text to give on Facebook. Of course, you can just put whatever you want in the caption. Let's see. There was one, and I saw it, but it left me. Okay, Amy says, Julia, if you have to pick where to spend your energy, frequently updating your website, frequently updating your social media, what would you advise? Limited time and limited resources means I have to make annoying choices. Well, I would repurpose whatever you're doing on your website and put it on your social media. So repurpose it. If you have a great story or you have a blog post, that could be an email newsletter. That can also be a really quick, like those video apps I gave you. You can turn a blog post into a video with Lumen 5, make a little video. You can make a thread on Twitter. There's ways to repurpose it. But what I want to say is really do an audit and evaluate where you're spending your time and what is getting you the most bang for your buck. So if you're looking at your analytics, you might see, oh, half of our website traffic, I had this happen with a client, half of our website traffic is coming from Pinterest. And we maybe like spend 5 minutes a month on Pinterest. And 3% is coming from Twitter, but we spend so much time on Twitter. So where are you going to put your eggs? I wouldn't do something for a week and then think it's a failure. But if you're doing something consistently, if you've been doing something for maybe 3 months or more, and you're looking at it and you're saying, wow, this other channel is really helping us, this channel's not, then don't be afraid to take some eggs out of that basket and put it into the other basket, because we all have limited time and resources. But repurposing as much as possible and sending people to your website as much as possible. If you've got great content on your website, share it everywhere. I really encourage people to go there. So that's a question I do get all the time. And I really believe that less is more. If you notice now, when you go to a website, you're not going to see 27 social media buttons. Like right now, you'll probably see like 2 or 3. I know a lot of people are just now like, oh, I'm just on Instagram. I'm going to have an email list. Awesome. That's great, because then you can really focus your energies. So you do want to be where your audience is, but you also really need to, recognize your limited capacity as well.
Yeah, of course. There was actually a very similar or like related question about wanting to post a piece of content to various platforms, and so asking like, should those graphics be unique for each? Should they be the same size or different? And I feel like, I know that there is like a tool in Canva for resize, but yeah, just any kind of other quick tips for
I
reposting.
do that all the time, but I make sure that I design the post for each platform. So when I was promoting the summit, I would never go into Hootsuite and write one caption with one graphic and just fire it out. I really spent the extra 30 seconds to 1 minute going into, I use Hootsuite to schedule, but going in and seeing, okay, this is what it's going to look like on Twitter. Horizontal graphics look best on Twitter. Square graphics look best on Instagram. Square graphics look best on LinkedIn, and Square is best on Facebook. So really looking at that, I think you can absolutely put the same content, just rewrite it and, remold it for the channel, because honestly, no one is going to see it. I haven't gotten a single person that said, Julia, I saw your post on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and your email list, and I am mad. No, you're lucky if someone sees it once. I mean, we really have to be real. So if you have something great, I say put it everywhere. Just make sure that it's molded for the specific channel.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Julia.
Sure.
It
It was
is
fun.
so wonderful having you here. I know
Oh,
we
let me
didn't
end.
get to like 19 questions, unfortunately,
That's all
but
right. They'll find me.
please, yeah, follow Julia. Check out her website. I think we'll include it in Jenna, if you want to paste that in the chat as well. You're going to get also in the follow-up email, I'm sending all of these awesome links that Julia shared, especially the workbook. So you'll have access to that. I think you're sharing a free course as well.
Yes. And it's actually the three elements. It's a little bit different than what I presented today. But I believe it was the three elements of social media that converts, and it's a lot of different examples and how to write your posts, things like that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Julia, for being here.
Sure.
And this is so much fun. And how awesome is all these great questions and attendees that we have with us today. One of the things that I also just kind of wanted to follow up on, because there was quite a few questions about text to give. And I also wanted to just do a little quick plug for CauseVox. While we don't have text to give, what we do have is mobile optimized forms. And we also have Apple and Google Pay, so people can pay with one click on any device. I've seen tons of people use us with QR codes, directing people at an event, or even online to use a QR code and pay really in one click. Using Apple and Google Pay. So I think that's been a cool way to convert people on social media, especially if you're running like a certain fundraising campaign. So saw a few questions around that, and I just kind of wanted to at least throw something out there in the meantime, just to think about. And if you're interested in chatting more about that specifically, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to chat more about how you can get started with that. So feel free to reach out to me, and we'll get a 15-minute conversation set up.